Science, most people feel, is a highly complicated subject best left to the workings of an intelligent mind. After all, it certainly can't be so simple to observe the paired production of elementary particles or understand the role of cosmic neutrinos, something that physicists do. Like Professor Yash, for example, who has been exploring the rich world of physics for his entire life. However, if you were to tell Professor Yash that physics is too difficult to absorb or understand, he would probably have a good laugh. Obviously, considering that his primary mission over the years has been to attract children to science, a task at which he has been tremendously and amazingly successful. Professor Yash was born on November 26, 1926, in Jung, now in Pakistan, to Ram Pyare Lal and Lakshmi Devi. Several major events determined the course of his life, beginning with a major earthquake in his town, Quetta, at age 9, which destroyed his home.
In 1935, there was a very massive earthquake in Quetta. The wall fell on us. My father was sitting trying to see, and you know, when there's an earthquake, they say if you clap, it goes away, it stops. So he was doing this. Luckily, his hands were outside. A lot of mass fell on him. He's a strong man. He managed to extricate himself. But two of us, myself and my brother, we were buried. I still remember that I was quite cool, you know, and that as if having fun sleeping, somebody will do something. I think I remember one thing, a passionate thing. God, I wish we were a bird. I was a bird and I could fly away. Everything is demolished, isn't it? Everything fallen. And that Sindhi, that shop which sells sweetmeat, that must also be demolished. So let's go there. We went there and sure enough there was a lot of these sweets lying there. We picked them up.
He completed his BSc Honours in 1948 and MSc in 1949 from Punjab University, after which he started working in cosmic ray and high energy physics at the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, in Mumbai. He then got his PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, US in 1958 and continued to be on the staff of the TIFR till 1983.
One of the things which kept on coming to me was, look, I'm having so much fun. I was paid only 175 rupees a month. But I am so much fun that my country supports me to have fun, that poor country. It's so marvelous to be able to do that.
His professional work with cosmic rays and high energy physics has taken him around the world.
And so it involved going there to Ahmedabad, helping to set up the Space Applications Center. There were lots of very excellent people already there, and putting them together and a program of space applications to be developed, which had one element was to do this experiment on satellite instructional television experiment, where we had brought satellite television for the first time in the world and for the first time only into villages of India, and a few thousand villages, not in cities. Only Delhi and Bombay had a 1-hour television each day, that's all. But the villages had television coming from the sky, and the equipment for that was designed, built, kept, serviced. Television sets had to be serviced over thousands of kilometers there, and then programs to be prepared, and then to think what kind of programs, if you're sitting out in Ahmedabad or in Delhi, all the thinking about what is education, we're involved in making science programs for children. And I believe that science is taught only through experiments. But how do you do experiments in these villages where there are sometimes not even blackboards?
Professor Yash work in the various areas of space technology sought to connect with grassroots India. One such project was a television series of more than 150 episodes titled Turning Point.
And I had to move. I moved and didn't have to move, but I was taken up with another passion which came from Vikram Sarabhai, and that was see if space technology can be used to really interconnect Indians and to reach the most distant parts of the country with education and messages. Suddenly one day there was an inspiration, and I wrote down a credo that we'll make science programs. The objective of that would be to help children realize that science is everywhere, that it is in the flying kite, it's in the ponds, it's around the bicycle, the bullock cart, about the growing things. And if all these become their laboratories, what else do you need? And that's how the programs were produced.
Known as the Carl Sagan of India and a Gandhian technologist, Professor Yash has been deeply involved with the education sector of the country and has conceptualized and set up a number of inter-university institutions. As chairman of the committee appointed to reduce the burden on school children while improving the quality of education, he produced a report titled Real Education for the Real India. Through a long and distinguished career, Professor Yash has not only hemmed influential institutions like the University Grants Commission and the Planning Commission, but has also won several awards for his meritorious contributions to science, education and society, including the Padma Bhushan. His professional life apart, what is Professor Yash like in his personal life?
Professor Yash is a scientist from a fellow scientist, his son. Inspirational, absolutely inspirational. His ability to draw connections between things that appear to me unrelated, and always looking for connectivities and lessons you can learn from life that you can apply to different disciplines, and just enthusiasm for life. That has always been an inspiration to me.
What kind of food does Professor Yash like?
The only thing is I'm a vegetarian. Punjabi food, just paratha, tandoor ki roti with lots of butter and saag and a well-made dal.
Where does Professor Yash go on a vacation?
I think there are best places all over the world. I mean, in India also, you can go to Cape Comorin, you can go to Kashmir, Ladakh, you can go to Kaziranga, there are Nal Sarovar.
Is Professor Yash a theist or an atheist?
I'm not atheist of the kind who will shout at the people. For me, spirituality doesn't derive only from religion. God interferes with his own laws, if there is a God. You have to accept either there is a God, or more likely, God was such a need for human beings that they invented different ones.
What advice does Professor Yash give the students?
I said, don't worry, don't try to, as students do at the moment, immediately after passing 10th class or just BA or something, they say, I have to decide in 2 years I should have a car, I should have my career. I think this is ridiculous. Nobody should be able to afford a car in 2 years or 5 years. You should struggle a little bit, and you shouldn't struggle for a car, you should struggle for what you want to do, and the car will come. Jo karne ka hai, wo kariye.
As India's foremost champion of science and education, Professor Yash is very sure that only high levels of literacy will propel the country's growth curve. And he is doing all he can to give it momentum.